Hi, I'm John Cranton with JimFeist.com. Going to take a look at the 2015 AFC West. This was Peyton's place back in 2013, dominating the division and the AFC before getting smoked in the Super Bowl 43-8 as a favorite. Last season was kind of the same as Denver won the division easily, a 12-4 record, and then went very quickly in the playoffs. In division with the Chiefs, Chargers, and rebuilding Raiders, Denver is the favorite to win the division again with a new coach, and Denver is basically a 2-1 favorite in Las Vegas, or 1-2 to win this division. We'll start with them. They are projected at 10 wins on the year. 39-year-old quarterback Peyton Manning, he's showing some age, dropping from a record 55 touchdowns 2 years ago to last year 39 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, over 4,700 yards passing, only got sacked 17 times. Now the offense, they can still hum, ranks second in the NFL in points, just over 30 per game, and fourth in yards, just over 400 per game. But changes are in store with new coach Gary Kubiak taking over. Still a relatively pass-first attack. They finished fourth in the NFL in passing, 15th in rushing. You got 27-year-old wide receiver Demaryius Thomas, over 1,600 yards. In fact, he has over 1,400 yards in each of the last 3 seasons. Plus 28-year-old wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders. He had over 1,400 yards, just a dynamite duo. And they do have some newcomers, though. Tight end Owen Daniels comes aboard, and they still like wide receiver Cody Latimer coming back from an injury. Now, the ground game has C.J. Anderson, 849 yards, and Monty Ball. General manager John Elway wants them to run the football more. Manning is showing some age. And they bring in Gary Kubiak, the coach. He's going to bring in zone blocking, which he's a proponent of, something he actually learned from Mike Shanahan when the two were here in Denver. Now, they've dealt with offensive line problems since that Super Bowl loss, and for this season they add rookie tackle Ty Sombrero in the second round and center Max Garcia in the fourth round. Did get some really bad offseason news, though, as tackle Ryan Clady, he's already lost for the season. Now, the Denver defense, they rank third in the NFL in yards allowed, but 16th in points. The secondary ranked 9th, and the run defense ranks second in the NFL, 79.8 yards per game. But this is a group that lost 2 of its final 3 games, allowing 37 points to the Bengals and a 24-13 playoff loss to the Colts. They moved up in the second round to add defensive end Shane Ray out of Missouri, and they still have 11-year veteran linebacker DeMarcus Ware. He had 10 sacks. He's still here, along with linebacker Von Miller, who had 14 sacks. 29-year-old cornerback Aqib Talib, he is still here and stayed relatively healthy, missing only 1 game. Well, he's averaged just 10 games per season the last 4 years. They like cornerback Bradley Roby, the number 31st overall pick in the draft a year ago from Ohio State, and cornerback Chris Harris is outstanding. Now, the schedule for Denver for the first 6 games are on the road. Then they get the bye in week 7. Then they get 6 of their final 10 games at home. That's going to include games against the Patriots and Bengals, a pair of revenge games. In fact, the only 2 tough road games on the year will be the Colts and the Steelers. Now, Denver was 10-7 over the total last year, part of a 29-16-1 run over the total. They're 33-19-2 over the total since Peyton Manning got here. In second place in the division, let's take a look at the San Diego Chargers, projected by Vegas at 8.5 wins. Mike McCoy did a real good job in his first year as coach, helping quarterback Phillip Rivers cut down his turnovers to win Comeback Player of the Year. And last season they had a winning record, 9-7 straight up, 7-9 against the spread. Oddly, they started the year 5-0 against the spread and then went 2-9 ATS down the stretch, bringing that run into the new season. Now, the offense of San Diego was not balanced at all, 10th in passing with 256 yards per game, but they plummeted to 30th in rushing with all kinds of offensive line injuries. Now, Rivers had 31 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, but he was sacked 36 times. Now, San Diego finally bailed on running back Ryan Matthews, and they're going to turn to rookie tailback Melvin Gordon, a first-round pick, number 15 overall, the phenom out of Wisconsin, along with running back Donald Brown, but he had just 2.6 yards per carry. Problem is his offensive line, and they do have some new looks, stealing division rival tackle Orlando Franklin from the Broncos. He's 27 years old, to beef up the line, along with former Rams right tackle Joseph Barkdale. You team them with DJ Fluker and King Dunlop, and the line is bigger. Don't know if they're better yet, but they certainly are bigger. Now, Rivers has very good targets with 13-year veteran Tight end Antonio Gates, 821 yards. Wide receiver Malcolm Floyd, 856 yards. And Keenan Allen, 783. Very good targets. Plus they add Jacoby Jones from the Ravens. The San Diego defense ranked 4th in the NFL against the pass, 26th against the run, giving up 124 yards rushing per game. Rookies Cameron Botticelli and Darius Philon are aboard to try and beef up the line. But really the best medicine is a return to health to linebacker Melvin Ingram. He had 4 sacks, but boy, when he was healthy, he was a force on this team. Now the secondary looks pretty good for the Chargers with former Pro Bowl safety Eric Weddle and cornerback Brandon Flowers, who had 3 picks, and they like young cornerback Jason Verrett. Schedule for San Diego, they got road games at Cincinnati, Minnesota, Green Bay, Baltimore, and Jacksonville. They do play 4 of the final 6 games at home, and the bye comes in Week 10, which is nice, along with playing 6 of their first 10 games at home. San Diego is on a 19-11 run under the total. Let's take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs have been projected the last 3 years at roughly 8 wins by Las Vegas, and here's what they did. They went 2-14, they went 11-5, and finally last year coming back more to the pack as far as projections, going 9-7 straight up. 10-6 against the spread under Coach Andy Reid. His offense is not explosive. It's a controlled West Coast safe passing offense. Last year, Kansas City really had no passing game, 29th in passing, 10th in rushing, and they were 16th in the NFL in scoring with 22.1 points per game. Now the offense is going to be a run-first attack again, led by running back Jamaal Charles, just over 1,000 yards rushing, 5 yards per carry, and even quarterback Alex Smith had 254 yards rushing. Smith threw for 18 touchdowns, 6 picks, and over 3,200 yards passing, and it comes at a cost of not being sacked. Doesn't turn the ball over, but he was sacked 45 times. Now, the offensive line is going to have somewhat of a new look as Andy Reid has been trying new combinations in practice. Do know that Ben Grubbs is going to be there along with center Eric Kush. They have been the constants at that position. Of course, they like left tackle Eric Fisher, the former #1 overall pick. They also have some new blood with rookie guard Mitch Morse out of Missouri taken in the 2nd round. Now, the wide receivers for the Chiefs, they didn't even show up last season. You had 25-year-old tight end Travis Kelce with the leading receivers with 862 yards, and their 3rd leading receiver was the running back Charles with 291 yards. So the wide receiver core is going to try Jason Avante, rookie Chris Conley, and Jeremy Maclin. But overall, this looks like a below-average wide receiver core again. Kansas City defense was very strong. They ranked 7th in the NFL in yards, 2nd in points behind the Seattle Seahawks, allowing just 17.6 points per game. Kansas City ranked 2nd at defending the pass, but they were 28th at trying to stop the run, getting run over for 127.3 yards per rushing per game. But this line is still solid with linebacker Justin Houston. He's a force with 22 sacks. Tamba Hali up front, and former number 23 overall pick linebacker Dee Ford is still here. The Chiefs secondary needs some help after the loss of safety Eric Berry, so they took cornerback Marcus Peterson with the 18th overall pick out of Washington. Kansas City run-first conservative offense is on an 11-5 run under the total. For the schedule, they're going to play 4 of their first 6 games on the road. They're going to start at Houston, and they got the home game against Denver, big rivalry game. Then at Green Bay and Cincinnati. It's a very tough September for them. Do get the bye in Week 9, which is nice, plus playing 4 of their final 6 games at home. Some of the tough road games at the Ravens, Packers, Bengals, Texans, and Broncos and Chargers. None of that is going to be easy. Kansas City is 40-24-1 under the total the last 4 years with that conservative offense, and 2015 doesn't look much different. Now, the Oakland Raiders, they're going to have a different look. They're projected by Vegas, though, at just 4.5 wins. Jack Del Rio is aboard as coach, saying he wants to bring some swagger back to the Raiders. Well, for a team that was winless at home last year and 3-13 overall, they will take anything they can get. Now, Oakland really is starting the last couple of years by rebuilding the offense first. Quarterback Derek Carr was pretty good as a rookie, 21 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, only 24 sacks, too. And they have 6'4" wide receiver Andre Holmes back over 600 yards receiving. He's going to be joined by newcomer Mike Crabtree, along with rookie wide receiver Amari Cooper out of Alabama and tight end Clive Wolford. He was taken in the 3rd round out of Miami. In fact, 3 of their first 4 draft picks were helping the offense. Now, last year, They were 26th in passing, dead last in rushing the football, 77.5 yards per game. Running back Trent Richardson arrives to save the ground game. Believe that when I see it. I think he'll be gone by mid-season. And Oakland has done very well actually protecting the quarterback. Only 28 sacks last season. Remarkable for a team that had absolutely zero running game. Now, the defense for the Raiders, generally poor. I mean, some of the overall numbers aren't that bad. They were 16th at defending the pass, 22nd at defending the run, but that's misleading because they had absolutely no pass rush, 22 sacks last year, and they allowed 28.3 points per game. That was dead last in the NFL. They're trying to build around linebacker Khalil Mack out of Buffalo, the fifth overall pick back in 2014. Veteran Justin Tuck is here along with Malcolm Smith, but overall it's a team that's lacking depth and talent on defense. The Raiders secondary probably looks the best with former first-round pick cornerback DJ Hayden in there, but very little unless you count 100-year-old safety Charles Woodson. The schedule for the Raiders going to open with 2 straight home games. We already know the betting numbers, too. They're going to be a 3.5-point dog at home against the Bengals in Week 1, and then Week 2 a 5-point dog against the Ravens. Then they play 3 out of 4 games on the road. The bye week is going to come in Week 6, and some of their road games at Kansas City, Denver, Tennessee, Detroit, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Chicago, and Cleveland. The Raiders are on a 10-6 run over the total. This is going to be a pass-first offense with a bad defense. Might be a team to look at over the total if they can score some points. Now, if you're looking for college football previews and NFL previews, writing and video, you can check them out at jimfeist.com as well as daily free picks. Go ahead and check it out. And new members signing up will get a $50 credit.